How do you find the square root of a composite number? You factorize the radicand, looking for square numbers, then take the square root of any square factor you find. Let's look at an example. You want to find the square root of the number 18. First, you check if 18 is a square number. It is not. So, you can now factorize the number 18, looking for a square factor. 18 can be factorized into 9 times 2. So, the square root of 18 is equal to the square root of 9 times 2. Now, using the rule you learned in the previous video, you can break the expression up into two roots, the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. The square root of 9 is 3, since 3 squared is equal to 9. The square root of 2 is not a square number, and it cannot be factorized further because it's a prime number. So, you've now found that the square root of the composite number 18 can be factorized into 3 times the square root of 2, which can also be read as 3 radical 2. Now, let's choose factors for 18 that are not square numbers, say 3 times 6. 6 is a composite number that can be factorized into 2 times 3. So, the square root of 18 can also be written as the square root of 3 times 2 times 3. Notice that you can multiply 3 by 3 to get the square number 9. This is good because you're always looking for square numbers when you have a square root. Since 2 is not a square number, you are now ready to break the big square root into smaller square roots with radicands of 9 and 2. The square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 2 we leave alone. Hence, we have calculated in a different way that the square root of 18 is equal to 3 radical 2. You factorize the radicand looking for square numbers. Then take the square root of any square factor you find.